What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today, MSTR. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 24th day of October, and here we are on this Friday, the end of the week here for MSTR, sitting at about $284 as of yesterday's close. $292 in the early hours operations here, the pre-market hours right now. I do expect, just looking at this here, will probably open up to the positive effect. Sometimes these early market, these pre-market hours, they can be misleading. You're up and then you open up down. Sometimes that happens, but overall, I do think that we are at a low point here for MSTR. And there's some long-term stuff that I want to go over, but let's just talk about the short-term stuff first, like the more immediate term stuff. From this low to a high, the high, we are actually just below the golden ratio. Is this the appropriate? Should I take this low? Maybe I should take this. We're just below the golden ratio here, which, to be fair, is not really common at all. You would actually expect that we go to the 786 from this point or the 886 from this point and then move up. But in crypto specifically, over the past like month or two, I've actually seen a lot of coins, a lot of altcoins bounce, even Bitcoin bounce right above its 786, as weird as that is. So maybe MicroStrategy being, or strategy being, a crypto adjacent stock, I wouldn't even say adjacent, like directly plugged into crypto, wouldn't it make sense then to maybe behave like some cryptos as well? You might find support here. It is possible that you go lower, and again, from the Fibonacci retracement perspective, it's actually statistically very probable that we see something at about $266 to $250, something in that range there, before moving higher. It's possible, but if we look at the daily indicators here, we look at the RSI, you do have bullish divergence, right? We have a low here, a lower low, and a lower low on a closing basis on the daily time frames, and we have a low here, whoops, in the RSI, a higher low, and a higher low. We actually even have, it actually extends even further back. We have low, higher low, higher low, higher low. That's triple bullish divergence with a low, lower low, lower low, lower low, right there. So that's triple bullish divergence. That's actually very fierce. The MACD also has bullish divergence here, higher lows there and higher lows in the oscillators, lower lows in the price. You have higher lows in the stochastics as well with lower lows in the price. If today, Friday, closes green, we probably do continue to move higher going into next week, and this really could be the low because, again, bullish divergence across all daily time frames is, well, it's no small accomplishment there. Let's just leave it at that. 1 hour time frame, looking at this here, the RSI looks a bit sad, to be fair. So the fact that we're up early market hours is nice to see. The MACD is starting to shape up actually, and the stochastics are as well. So two RSI looking sad versus these two looking kind of good right now. I'm going to take the good side. We're probably going to come up, and then the 3 hour time frame. Let's just look at that. I like that bounce. Man, that is perfect bullish divergence right there. Yeah, you've got it on all your indicators too. Yeah, I really do think, again, if we're not at the low, you're absurdly close to it, right? If this isn't your low here at $276, you are at the most $25 away from it, at the most. But you're probably going to find support at 260, 266 would be my guess if you go lower. At this point in time, if I'm being completely clear, just frankly speaking, I do believe this is the low. We don't have anywhere near enough information to confirm that yet, but I believe just with this the indicators that we've seen and with Bitcoin moving up, I believe that we have found the low because I also believe that Bitcoin found its low here. I don't think that we're going to go lower. So MSTR looking good here, guys. Looking fierce. Now talking about the long-term stuff, the weekly time frame. You know, there's a lot of people who are bearish on MicroStrategy or strategy. There's a lot of people who I've actually even seen an article. I tried to pull it up, I think, in my most recent video. If not, I forgot, where they're basically, when I say they, I mean the mainstream media. I mean like Bloomberg. I mean traditional financial analysts. They're fudding crypto treasury stock companies, and they're fudding MSTR really hard. And I think that after what is effectively a year of just consolidating in this range, I don't think that you're bearish. Like this is bullish consolidation, right? Like this is very, very bullish consolidation. The one thing that I can say is that it does bear an eerie resemblance to what we saw back here, right? You've got the high right here, you've got the lower high. Like it bears somewhat of a similarity there. But again, looking at this on a weekly time frame, your RSI back here was a lot higher than it was here. Okay, it was a lot higher. By the time you rolled over, Bitcoin had already been showing signs of weakness, where right now we're showing signs of strength. It was totally different. Interest rates were increasing. Here they're decreasing, right? We're getting rate cuts, quantitative easing. It's not easing yet, but we're at least looking to end quantitative tightening, where quantitative tightening back here was just ramping up. It doesn't seem to me as though we've got the same kind of topping signals here, and Bitcoin certainly hasn't had any topping signals, so I don't think that we have. But overall, this is a bullish, I would say this is a very bullish phase of consolidation. Moving sideways like this at the top is actually not a problem at all. Higher lows are not a problem at all. It's been a long time that we've been stagnant, that we've been in this range, but again, I think that the main reason for that is probably because of this, the open interest, because of the amount of calls that are being put on MSTR. It's because everybody knows it's going to go up. It's a company that bases its value on buying Bitcoin. They're destined to move higher. It's going to happen. So we all know that that's going to happen. If you don't know that, let me tell you now, it's going to happen. Let me be the first to tell you. If it'll load here, let's just wait and see. Sometimes it takes a second whenever I click view all expiries. What we're really waiting for before we see any kind of explosive behavior in MSTR is these calls and puts to chill, man. We want the puts to outweigh the calls, but they just haven't for a very long time. And until they do, I think MSTR is going to be left behind. What we're probably going to see, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bitcoin get away. Bitcoin moves up to new highs, 150K, something like that, and MSTR is still not even at new all-time highs. And then when people get more bearish on MSTR versus Bitcoin, once they start to flock from here to there, or the calls go down, once we see that put to call ratio level out a little bit, that's whenever we're going to see MSTR see its fantastic breakout. But looking at this overall on a weekly time frame with the RSIs here, I don't like that we found a double top at the overbought zone. I don't like that we have lower highs here. You know, that's kind of intimidating as well. But the fact that we do have lower lows in the RSI, in fact, we've been building lower lows for a long time while providing higher lows, that is a good thing. That's called hidden bullish divergence. It typically is a good thing. The MACD is actually right at an area that you'd expect it to bounce at, right here at the zero. The fact that the oscillators here, that the blue line and the orange line are barely below the zero, I'm not worried about that. In fact, that gets me excited. That tells me that we're probably coming to an end of this downtrend as a whole. I really do believe that. We even have bullish divergence. Wow, I didn't notice that, do we? Nope, no we don't. Okay, well, it depends on how this week closes. Hopefully we close with a bang and we don't close 1.7% to the downside. Hopefully we close to the green effect. Hopefully today is a good day. We'll see. You know, where the pre-market is, if we close here or higher, I think that'd actually be very beneficial. We probably would have bullish divergence there. No bullish divergence on the stochastics and no bullish divergence on the RSI, but we are at some of the lowest readings that we have been at for a very long time. The last time we were here was December 2022, okay, December 2022, and that was our bear market low. So the last time that we saw this low of a reading on the RSI was all the way at our bear market low, okay, if that says anything. Totally different dynamic here. You were moving up here, where here we're phasing down, but again, higher lows in the price, lower lows in the RSI. That means hidden bullish divergence. So that typically promotes continuation, not decay. But we'll see. We'll see. Looking at the prior cycle's high, the all-time high, to the bear market low here, right? High to low. We did stop right at the golden ratio, and we're actually consolidating here between the 618 and the 1272. And this is very productive behavior. Whenever you consolidate between these 2 points, it's actually very productive. And typically, whenever you find resistance to the golden ratio, you look to find support in a few areas, okay? It's nice if you find support at the 1414, but you typically don't do that, right? The 1414 is over here, right? That's $340. You typically don't do that. The best outcome would be that you find support at the 1270. I mean, the best would be technically the 1414, that you just break through it overall, but the best outcome typically is that you find support at the 1272. Because oftentimes enough, you will go back down, you'll find support somewhere in this area or even lower. The fact that you haven't done that yet and you've had ample opportunity to do so tells me that we're probably not going to before moving higher first. Whenever you get this golden ratio resistance to the 1272 support, that typically allows you to grow past the 1886 200 area and into the 2272 2618 area. I don't think MSTR is going to be worth $5,300 by the end of this cycle. I mean, maybe. We've seen crazy growth happen with this thing. It can happen again. I mean, wouldn't that just be perfect? Everybody's bored on MSTR. It was the talk of the town last year at this time, and everybody's sleeping on it now, and then boom, it just rips to 5,000. Wouldn't that be perfect? That'd be so bullish. But the thing here to focus on is not just where the price is going to go, where it may or may not go, any of these levels here, right? And then here are the corresponding prices. It's also the timing, okay? Bitcoin, BTC, is projected to top off, I'm thinking, sometime in Q2 of 2026. March, April, May. I know March is end of Q1, but March, April, May, maybe even June. But I think April, May, somewhere in that time frame, really. MSTR probably tops off at least a month before. At least a month before, if not more months. So if Bitcoin tops off in April, March, or May, MicroStrategy, MSTR probably tops off. It could top off as early as December, 3 months before. It could top off in January, February. Maybe it tops off in March. It's possible as well. But the less time that we have, the less likely this target is, and the less likely this target is. I think that we will continue into 2026. I think MSTR will continue to pump into 2026. But when does it top is the question, right? So when we are, if it is, let's say, the end of Q1, or we're past the midway point of Q1 and we're here, that's probably the top. That is probably the top, okay? If we're here by the end of December, I mean, there's a chance that we could go to $5,000 then. There's a chance, okay? But genuinely, I expect that we will see something probably above this level. With the 2272, you typically don't stop right at it. You do wick a little bit above it. So if it's at 2430, you probably see $2,500 to $3,000 in price. That's probably going to be your market cycle top for MSTR. That's my expectation, okay? And again, going from the golden ratio to the 1272, it's not that you can't stop here. You could. This could 1,000 to 1,300 could be your cycle ending top. It could be. But typically, in this kind of situation where you go from the 1618 to the 1272, you do go to your 2272. You show respect, right? If you show respect at the 1272, you're going to show respect at the 2272. Typically, that's how it happens. But we'll see. We'll see. That's the expectation right now. We've shifted our end of cycle targets from here to there throughout this whole range, but I think it's very clear to me now that MicroStrategy will be worth roughly $2,500 to $3,000, something in that area there. I don't have anything else that I want to talk about. I think I've said it all. So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I think a good closing statement, a good thought here would be that if today, Friday, the end of this week, we got 6 hours, 59 minutes left in this week. If today can make this week close green, that would be awesome. That'd actually be awesome. And by the way, to close this week green, we actually don't even need to close up here at $297. To close the week green, all we have to do is close here, which technically with pre-market hours right now, early market hours, we are actually above that point, right? Because the week last week closed here, this week opened up. We're down right now. So I mean, if we close here, we're actually up on the week. We'd be positive. So if we could just have a good Friday, I think that would be a really good look, because again, then we could probably get some bullish divergence on the MACD. I'll see you guys on the next one. I have nothing else for you. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.